Good morning, Elijah.
Good morning.
I need you to get on Google Classroom, please, sir. Go to Monday's assignment for today and click on the Nearpod. We're going to do the Nearpod that y'all did on Monday at home. We're going to go over it as a group. So if you can do that, you'll need your ISM book and you'll probably need a calculator, please. Good morning, Mr. Strickland. Mr. Hughes, you here? You are. Okay, so what I need you to do is I need you to get on Google Classroom, please, for me, sir. Go to Monday's assignment. It is the Nearpod that you did last Monday, except we're going to do it as a group. If you would open up your ISM books to the notes that you took last week on that, and you'll need a calculator, okay? And we're going to start in about a minute. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Okay, what I need you to do is I need you to get on Google Classroom, go to Monday's assignment, which is a Nearpod activity, and log on there. You will need your ISM book to take notes, and you'll need a calculator, okay, baby? And we're going to start in a few minutes. Good morning, Izzy. Izzy, I need you to get on Google Classroom, please. Go to Monday's assignment, and I would like you to open the Nearpod. This is the Nearpod that you took notes on last week, and if you'll get those notes out, and you'll need a calculator, please, ma'am. Good morning, Janiyah. If you'll please get on Google Classroom, go to Monday's assignment, go to the Nearpod, and log on, please. You will need your ISM book to take notes today. Okay, so be the respecter of time. Right now it's 10:16, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's see who we all got on. So right now I have 5 people logged on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do not see your name, that means you're not logged on. What you will need to do is you will need to, let's go here. Let me share my screen. What you'll need to do is you will need to go into your Google Classroom. You will need to go into Monday's assignment of this week, which is January 4th through the 8th, Monday's work. And what you'll need to do is you need to click here with the link. When you click here with the link, you'll have to sign in. So if you can use your Google account or whatever. And once you do that, then you should be on the Meet. Now, here's what I have so far on the people that are on the Meet. The problem that we have is when I get started, if I get started, you're not going to get on here. You have to so you can participate with everyone else. Does anybody have any questions? Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Catherine or Kate. If y'all would please get on Google Classroom. go to Monday's assignment and log into the Nearpod activity. If you're having a problem, please tell me here. I have 7.
Get a what?
Get on Google Classroom, ma'am, under today's date, under Monday's assignment. I'll share with you, Kate, so you can see it. Give me just 1 second. So if you go into Google Classroom, Monday's assignment, that's January 4th, you'll go to Monday's work and you open it up, you will see a link here. You'll hit this link and this will take you to the Nearpod lesson activity and you'll have to log in.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, baby. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a total of 8 people. I got 9. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So some of you have already done this and y'all did this last Monday. The people that were at school did not. So I decided what we're going to do is we were going to do it all together today, making sure that you have the notes. Now we're going to do probability today. We're going to do statistics tomorrow. And as you saw online, there is an agenda, but it's pretty a rough agenda right now because I'm wanting to see how good we get along with everything. So if we get through everything I think we're going to get through this week with these 2 subjects, we will have a breakout room test on Friday. So first thing you want to do in your ISM book, if you haven't done it, label it probability on the top, please. So when we're talking about probability, we're talking about the calculation likelihood that a given event has occurred. There are 3 different types or methods to determine probability. You will need to write these down. So if you do not have these in your notes, you need to write these down. So the methods of probability is empirical, there is theoretical, and there is subjective. And when we're talking about empirical, we're talking about experimental observations. When we're talking about theoretical, we're talking about known elements. And when we're talking about subjectivity, that has to do with assumptions. So the next slide that you have is you have a question, and it asks you, what are the 3 methods of probability? If you would please type your answer in. Thank you, Jesse.
Hey, Miss Sloan, I didn't get all of them down. I only got the first one down. I had to deal with my little brother coming in here.
It's okay. So it's empirical, theoretical, and subjective. And if I go too fast, you just stop me when I'm telling you to take notes and I'll wait for you. Because what I'm doing is I'm writing them down on a piece of paper so I can kind of pace myself.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get them all?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Probability components. We're talking about probability components. We're talking about experiment, which is an activity which observes results. We have a sample space, which is a set of all possible outcomes. We have an event, which is a subject of a sample space, and an outcome, which is a sample point, the result of the experiment. If you would please write any notes that you need, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Okay. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the probability. And we're talking about a probability. We're talking about what do you think the possible outcomes is when you toss a coin and it lands on heads. So the first thing that it shows you the experiment. It shows a man holding a coin. Then we have a sample space, which they created what's called a probability tree. This probability tree is a tree that shows the possible outcomes. So on the coin, of course, you've got heads or tails. That's all you've got. The event means when you throw it, what did you get? Possibility of heads or tails, right? And the outcome is heads. Probability is a way to communicate the belief that an event has occurred, expressed as a number between 0 and 1. Fractions, percentages, decimals, and odds are examples of expressing these probability. Total probability of all tosses event totals 1. So what I want you to write on here is I would like you to write down that a probability can be expressed by fractions, percentages, decimal, and odds. You now have an open-ended question.
Miss Sloan, can you go back
Can
at
you
it?
get back for a second?
Sure. There we go. Is everybody good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Open-ended question. Do y'all have a question there?
No, ma'am.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's the reason why I can't see one. So the question that I was going to ask, and I'll just ask you right now. So when we're talking about probability and we're talking about a coin, what do you think the percentage would be that would be heads if you tossed it 10 times? Just tell me how many you think it would possibly be. What's your percentage? How many is going to be heads if you toss it 10 times? Anybody?
5.
5? That sounds good. Anybody else have an answer? How could you prove that? How many times would you have to do it to prove it?
10.
Okay. So if you did it in a series of 10, and the first trial that you did of the first set of 10, you got 5 hits. Okay. You flipped it and you did 10 trials and you got 4 hits. And then the third trial, you got 3 hits. What would you do for the probability of those 3 sets of tosses?
You'd average them out.
Very good. You would average them out. Thank you, Hugh. Great. Okay. Relative frequency. So when we're talking about relative frequency, we're talking about the number of times an event will occur divided by the number of opportunities. So here what we have is we have a formula. If you'll please write this formula down. You have Fx equals Nx over N. Your Fx is the relative frequency of outcome of X. Xn is the number of events with outcome. N is the total number of events. Expressed as a number between 0 and 1, fraction, percentages, decimals, and odds again, which we already know that again, and the total frequency of all possible events are total of 1. Does everybody have that? Okay. So right now it's telling you to type or write a relative frequency formula that what it does, and what it stands for. So I would like you to either draw or type the formula that I had you write, please. When you get done, if you'd please submit it. All right, and mine got kicked off, so everybody has submitted theirs, so everybody's looks good. Probability. What is the probability of a tossed coin landing on heads up? How many desirable outcomes? Well, we can either have, there's one desirable outcome. What is the possible outcomes is either heads or tails, which would be 2. And so what they did here is they took to find P, they did 1/2, which is 50. So what is the landing of the coin? Landing on tails up. So if you would please write down the formula for this, along with explaining to yourself how to do the equation. I would also like you to get to see if your calculator online is working, or get you a calculator and plug this in to make sure that it works for you. Is everybody good?
Yes.
Okay. So on this one here with coins, what I would like you to do is I would like you to do for me, or we can talk about it. If we had the same thing that happened, except we were not using the heads, what is the probability for it landing on tails? What do you think? Based on the formula that you wrote down. Anybody?
Can you repeat it again?
Yes, ma'am, I can. We just got finished doing the probability for heads, for the coin to land on heads. And what I was asking is, what, using the same formula, what would be the probability of the coin landing on tails?
Same thing, 50%.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. 50%. Exactly. Okay. So then the next thing we have here is we have a probability. It says, what is the probability of tossing a coin twice and it landing heads up both times? So if we look here, if we do it twice and we're throwing it out, there is a 1/4 or a 25% chance that it's going to be on our desired income. Does everybody understand that? Based on the tosses. What is the probability of tossing a coin 3 times and landing on heads? The main thing that I want to make sure that you have, if you look over here, when we're actually drawing this probability tree, do you see how the probability tree is drawn? What I would like you to do on this slide, if you would please, if you could just draw me the probability tree for this outcome. So as you're drawing the probability tree, what you have is you have your branches of your heads and your tails. And so from here, you could have a combination for the second trial. It would be either heads or tails, right? Same thing for this one, heads or tails. And then for the third trial, you could have heads, 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 head, head, tails, or you could have head, tail, heads, head, tail, tails. And then you could have heads, heads, head, tail, heads, tail, tails, tails, head, and then tail, tail, tail. The main thing that I want to make sure that you understand is when you have your test on Friday, do you know how to draw a probability tree? And do you know how to do the formula to find the percentage? Is everybody good?
Did you see the text I just sent you?
Who is that?
Hope.
Yes, Hope, I hear you.
Okay. I'm just listening to what you're saying because I can't do the new part right now.
It's fine. I understand. All right, baby. And what I told Amaya when she got off, I am recording this too, so you can watch it then too if you need to. All right, baby?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna be at Christian's house, so I'll have Wi-Fi.
Sounds great. Okay, so what I would like you to do right now is you can take a coin, you can take a piece of paper, you can take a pencil. I don't care what you're going to have, but you need to have something, a business card, doesn't matter. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to try to label one side head, one side tail if you had a coin. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to do 3 tosses. And from those 3 tosses, well, excuse me, let's do 2. Let's do 2 tosses and do me a probability tree. And tell me your percentage, please.
Miss Sloan,
Yes, sir.
what probability are we looking for again? Is it how many? Is it for 2 heads again?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Very good, Jesse. Wow, I like yours, Lex. Thank you. Okay. 50%. Oh, wow. Good job, Eric. You laid it on tails both time. Hmm. How we doing, Kate? Thanks.
I'm almost done.
Okay. Okay, good. Wow. Got some great data here. So that's fantastic. Okay. What I would like you to do now is you're going to be matching each one of these with its pair, please.
Miss Sloan, I can't get mine to scroll, so I can't do it.
You can't get your, what do you mean you can't get yours to scroll?
You
Right
have-
here on right here on the right hand side, there should be like a little button that you can scroll it. Can you
There's
say
just
something?
give it a second, Kate. The top part should just go up if you give it just a second. Just don't click anything.
Is it working, Kate?
It's still not working.
Okay. It's fine. I'm going to move on. but it's okay. Do you hear me? So if you look, Kate, on here, you have your pairs together. So what I did is I took the definitions that you should have written down, and I've matched it with the term to the definition is what I did. This is a good practice. You can always go on to the one from last Monday. It's a self-paced one. And if you want to do it there, Kate, you can do that one also and try it again. But this is what the answers were to your matching sets. Binomial process. If you'll please write down that it is a yes or no, on or off, right or wrong. And the trial is actually going to depend on the toss of the coin, does not affect the future toss. So for binomial process, please write down it's a yes or no, on or off, or right or wrong. On the next slide, has to do with the Bernini's process. And if you would please write this formula down and write down what the variables are. So when you look at this process, we have Px, which is your probability, is going to equal N, which is the number of trials, over the number of times the specific outcome within the N trial, times the number of trial, minus the number of times specific outcome within a trial, times P, which is probability, to the X power, and then Q, which is probability of failure in a single trial, with N minus X. If you would please write that formula down for me, and also write down what the variables stand for. And do not forget this part also, please. Is everybody good?
Not quite. Give me one more second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm good.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, if you'll please write down or type the process and what each variable stands for. And you're going to use your ISM book to write that from. Just to check to make sure you wrote it down. Okay, so with the respecter of time, which I went a little bit over than what I wanted to go over today, but what I'm going to do is we are going to stop right here. Right now, we are on slide number 13. So what you will need to do for the rest of the time with me is I would need you to go through and what you would do is you would go into last Monday's assignment, okay? So I'll share with you one more time what you'll need to do. So what you will need to do is you will need to go into last week's assignment. So if you go into Google Classroom under week 16, under Monday, you're going to find the same Nearpod that we were on today, that we did as a group. Now I'm going to save this because this is going to count as a grade. It's going to either be a daily grade or it's going to be a quiz grade for today. And I'll go back through and make sure all your answers are correct. But what you'll need to do is you'll need to go into this Nearpod here on number 63, and you will need to go through, because it's self-paced, and you will need to start on slide number 13, and you will need to go to slide 25. As you go through those slides, you'll have to answer questions and do things. Once you get that done, what you're going to do then is you're going to submit a picture. Where you're going to submit that picture at is you're going to go into Google Classroom for today under Monday's work, and you're going to turn in your a screenshot, or better yet, a picture of your ISM book with your notes. Does anybody have any questions?
Can you stay on for a minute after everybody else leaves for me?
Ma'am, I sure can.
What if we already did the Nearpod for last week?
Well, that is fine. If you've already done it for last week, then you take the pictures that you took the information today. Because I have a feeling more information maybe you didn't do. So if there was any,
Yeah, I have a little bit more.
yeah. So if you'll take a picture of that for me, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
So we just do 13 through 25?
Yes, ma'am. You're just going to go through 13 through 25. Take notes based on what you've seen, what we've done before, and take a picture of that along with what you did today and turn it in for today's assignment. Does anybody have any questions?
Are you saying take a picture of our notebook?
Yes, ma'am. Your ISM book.
Okay.
If you don't have any questions, you're free to go.
Bye, Miss Sloan.
Bye, baby.
Miss Sloan, so you said if we'd already turned in the work from last week, we're good to go, right? We don't need to.
One thing you'll need to do, Lex, is you'll need to take pictures of anything that you added to your notebook today.
All right. I really didn't. I mean, I had pretty much everything down. It was
okay. Well, just
so,
take one more picture of that for me, just so I'll have a picture.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
I will. You too, baby.
Thank you.
Hey, Hope.
Hey, I did it all last week. Can I just resubmit those pictures? Because I did write everything. I wrote all the notes, the formulas, and everything.
Yeah, just submit that picture.
Thank you. There's two pictures. It's like it's detailed notes, so you can see that it's not just little jots. It's two whole pages of notes. So
yes, ma'am, and I can go back in and look at your submission to see what you answered for everything.
Thank you, because it's just hard because the AT&T doesn't know what's going on. They don't.
That's what I heard this morning at our meeting, our faculty meeting. They said AT&T's having an issue.
It's been happening since like last week, and I have hotspot, but my cousin, my stepbrother, my step-cousin, and my stepsister were there, and they used all the hotspot that we have to play games and watch movies.
I understand. But listen, baby, today, probably most of the week, we're going to be going over those Nearpods. Especially, I'm probably going to change and do the second part of statistics tomorrow. I mean, yeah, and then I'm going to do, probability, and then statistics. I'm going to start doing that on Wednesday and Thursday. But try to get on if you can, even if it is just to listen.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I did today. But I did have all the notes from the Nearpod last week. Since it's the same one, I do have them.
That's fantastic. The only problem that I had is I wasn't quite sure how much detail y'all went into. And then also I wanted to make sure that the people that were at school last week had the opportunity to be able to get caught up to. So I hope you don't mind me letting y'all kind of wait and help them get to where they need to be so we can all be together. Okay? All right, Hope. Well, thank you, baby. And I will talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am. I just lost connection again.